there. I am not really in the woods. I'm out in my backyard, and the sunshine has been pretty hard to come by in Georgia this winter. So I've had lots of people asking for a video about me setting up my tent, and I actually have promised it a couple times but have been deterred by rain. So the sun came out. I noticed when I took my eyes off my laptop, I've been spending the whole weekend working, trying to get caught up on client projects so that I don't have anything hanging over my head when I leave for my trip. But it's a beautiful sunny afternoon, and the clouds should be rolling again later this afternoon, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and show you my tent setup, and then when I'm done, I'm actually going to spray it down with some waterproofing just for extra good measure before my trip starts in about a month. So stay tuned, here we go. I don't have my pack fully loaded today. I just brought the things that I really need for my setup. And one of the first things I take out is my little Z seat, which makes a great knee pad, especially when the ground is wet like it is today. My tent stakes. This is my tent wash and waterproofing that I'll be using in a little bit. And this bag has got my polycarbonate ground sheet and my tent stakes. Alright, the last thing I need to pull out right now is my tent itself. Before I get too much further, one of the important things to do is just walk around your campsite and make sure that there's nothing that's going to pierce your tent. Looks like this stake might be a problem, so I'm going to throw that out of the way. One other thing to look for is to make sure that you don't have any widowmakers hanging over your head. We've had a few dead trees down in the yard, but I don't see anything that's of concern right now, so this actually looks like a pretty good place. This polycarbonate ground sheet I made myself when I switched from my Big Agnes tent. When I had the Scout, I had the footprint that came with it, but then when I bought the Nemo at the REI garage sale, I didn't buy a footprint. There wasn't one available, so I decided to research making one on my own. And I went ahead and got the polycro, and it's a little bit hard to see. I went ahead and made the little grommets for the corners, and I cut this to be the actual size of my tent. This is the rainfly, and this is the body of the tent. At first I was setting up the stakes and putting it up that way, but I learned that I should actually stake out the tent itself before I put out the tent poles. I went ahead and staked that just because it was a little windy. So now we'll go ahead and actually put up the tent itself. Alright, so my tent is now staked out pretty securely. One challenge that I have noticed through this particular tent is that this foot end tends to get kind of a V in the fabric, and I can probably show you that once I have it up, but it just bugs me. It's not a functional issue, but it bugs me, so I try to make sure that I stake the foot end really well. And then, because it's a semi-freestanding tent, it has one pole that comes out right there at the end, and then two up at the other end. So if I needed to shed it up on a hard ground, I wouldn't be able to stake out these corners. Easy peasy. Just pop it together. There you have it, the inner tent is set up, and now for the rainfly. Alright, now here's a peek inside before I put anything in, and you can see when I'm talking about the little kind of V in the fabric at the end, and I know that's my own fault for not pulling the corners tight enough. So I'm going to adjust that a little bit, and then I'll get back with you and show you how I set up the inside. Okay, so typically once I'm inside my tent, I gather up all my bags for my tent equipment, stuff those all together in one place so I don't lose them, and either put them in one of my little pockets or kind of hide it in the back of the tent. And then I go ahead and unload my sleeping stuff. First thing is the sleeping pad. Have to blow that up, and some people blow it up outside their tent. I kind of like to do it inside the tent. All right, sleeping pad is blown up and spread out, and I can go ahead and get the other things out of my pack here. I don't have my sleeping bag with me. I actually plan to take my quilt from Underground Quilts, but it hasn't arrived yet, so I'm anxiously awaiting that. But I do have my 2 pillows that I sleep with, and I know this is a total luxury, and this one actually may be staying home because it weighs about 6 ounces. So I have these, and I'll blow them up, and I've made little pillowcases for them as well, just because for dirt and that sort of thing, a lot easier to wash and dry the pillowcases. And then this is my sleep sheet. I also have a cover for my sleeping pad that I've tested. I like it, but it weighs a little bit more, and this I think will be more versatile. I made this out of sari silk from India that I bought on eBay, and I really like the colors of it. I'm still fine-tuning the actual shape a little bit, but basically it's just sewn at the bottom, sewn a little ways up the corner, up the sides, and then I can just lay that out flat. And there it is. I'm ready for a cozy night in the Nemo tent. I do keep my backpack with me. I make sure there's no food or crumbs or anything like that left in it, but sometimes when my legs are sore, it's great to put under my feet and elevate them a little bit. And my other gear, I just kind of lay out where I need it. I keep my glasses and things up by my head. Headlamp can go up here in the top. There's a little pocket to give me some light if I need it. I did try a Lucy light, but I decided that was extra weight that I didn't need because the headlamp actually seems to work better for me. So I'm finding it real cozy, and hope this setup has been helpful for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually spray it down, get some extra waterproofing on it, and hopefully stay dry on the trail. So I'm getting ready to waterproof my tent, as I mentioned, and they recommend either washing it first or wetting it, and I have recently used this Nikwax tech wash on it when I came back from a pretty muddy camping trip, so I don't need to use the tech wash, and I'm just going to spray it down and get it ready to actually put the water treatment on it. Alright, the next step is to spray it down with this Nikwax Tech Gear waterproofer. I've used this before, like I said, and it works out pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and get to spraying. Okay, woo! Graceful. Now all I need to do is just wait a few minutes, then I come back with a wet cloth and look for any areas where the water repellent has kind of beat it up, and if there's excess I kind of wipe it off. So I'll be back to do that in a few minutes. Alright, I've got my helper with me now. And we're looking at the tent. It's had a few minutes to soak in, and you can see there's some white spots there where the waterproofing has kind of beat it up a little bit. It's not soaking into the tent. So the directions are to go ahead and wipe that down with a wet cloth, which I've got right here. I'm going to do that. Once you've wiped the excess off, you just need to let the tent dry. Make sure it's thoroughly dry before you put it away, and it will be protected from water as well as UV rays. So I hope that was helpful for you, and wanted to remind you that I am going to do a Q&A video coming up pretty soon, so make sure you put your questions down in the comments, and thank you again for watching. I'm so excited to have you along for my journey, and especially for my hike when it starts in just a few weeks. So it's getting close and I'm really excited. Thanks for watching.